Todd Monken is the new head coach. What do we expect? Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, set to compete for the starting quarterback job, as we expected. But maybe they're not really going to compete because it wouldn't make no sense for Deshaun Watson to start. But anything is possible, And this is, like I said, this is Shedeur Sanders' second season. No more rookie season. That rookie messes out the window. No more rookie excuses. So Shedeur will be under heavy pressure to prove he is a starting caliber quarterback for an NFL team, the Cleveland Browns. And now, new head coach Todd Monken. No more Stefanski. None of that Stefanski mess. Now he's going to have his chance to prove himself. Typically speaking, we would say this is a make or break season for a guy like Shedeur being a fifth round pick, to prove that he is worthy of this job. And yeah, he's going to have to show, because it can't possibly be a make or break season unless the Cleveland Browns, Todd Monken, really want to, if they believe in him and believe in developing him in the future, for the future, But I'm convinced, man. I'm convinced this was hard for any quarterback to play at a high level in Kevin Stefanski's offense. There were so many even Deshaun Watson came over there and looked like a hot mess. Right after coming from the Houston Texans and looking awesome, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
the perfect example we saw what Joe Flacco did. Joe Flacco, a week later, he threw for 300 yards.
That was embarrassing. That looked awful, man. That was totally embarrassing to watch Joe Flacco go over there and light it up, almost throw for 400 yards, and he could barely pass for 200 yards in this Kevin Stefanski offense, man. But the sad part about it for me was to watch Shedeur Sanders have to sit behind Dillon Gabriel, and everyone try to push the narrative that Dillon Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. He may do some things, have done some things better, getting the ball out of his hand quicker, making reads quicker and things like that. But he wasn't a better quarterback. That's what got me all uptight, because they was trying to push the narrative that Dillon Gabriel should start over Shedeur Sanders. And that was just terrible, And
so Dillon Gabriel not in that competition?
Hard for anyone to recognize, huh?
Dang, they already kicked Dillon Gabriel out that competition. It's between Watson and Shedeur. He not in there?
There is no one to save Dillon Gabriel anymore. His savior, Kevin Stefanski, is gone.
He out of here, man. Dang,
along with Tua Tagovailoa and Dillon Gabriel are pretty much in the same situation, same circumstances, same situation. Both players have the same skill sets. Both players' arm are about the same strength, right? Mm-hmm. They both need to get the ball out of their hands very quick, and they both needed a coach or a general manager there to protect them. Both don't have that anymore, and now they have to prove or get someone to believe that they're NFL caliber quarterbacks to still stay around in the NFL. No more of that bull crap. And that's what I'm talking about that really made me so uptight watching Shedeur Sanders. It's like, really, are we really going to sit here and watch the professional football league, the NFL, put Dillon Gabriel, who we're watching, who we seen, and say that his skill set and his play is better than Shedeur Sanders?
You're still in shock.
I'm still in shock. Still in shock. You know what I mean? So at least we don't have to deal with that anymore. That is done and over with. If he beats Shedeur Sanders if Dillon Gabriel somehow can beat Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders with Todd Monken as the new head coach, then hey, Dillon Gabriel deserves the job. 100%. Ain't no more. We're talking about Todd Monken or someone being biased, Right. But yeah, for Shedeur to be elite in Cleveland, man, it was going to take a new offensive coordinator. That freaking offense they was running was pretty much elementary. What I was watching in Kevin's defense.
I feel like the Browns still need a lot more. They need some receivers. They need some. They got that nice tight end. He took over when Njoku got hurt, but they need some more than just that new offensive coordinator, new coach, and all that. Man, they need a lot. I feel like they need a lot.
Yeah, man. The best thing that could have happened for Shedeur Sanders in his circumstances and his scenario, the new head coach for the Cleveland Browns, Todd Monken, becomes the head coach for the Cleveland Browns, the coach who wanted to draft him to Baltimore Ravens. That is the perfect scenario for the circumstances that Shedeur Sanders is in.
That's a fact.
There isn't a better coach, unless it would have been his dad, that the Cleveland Browns couldn't have picked. Now, was this a coincidence or was this done purposely? I think it was done purposely.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I'm like 90% sure it was done purposely.
He probably talked about that in his interview, man. I wanted this guy in Baltimore. I wanted them bad. Like, I can make it work. That probably was a part of the whole interview process.
Like you said, Todd Monken showed interest in Shedeur. And maybe Cleveland Browns was the only team who wanted to make him the head coach. And if that is true, that's Jimmy Haslam making sure Shedeur Sanders get all the coaching, all the support he needed to be successful. Because Jimmy Haslam see the big picture. He's a businessman at the end of the day. You know?
Another bright side for the Browns. They got defense, man. They got their defense already. So just worry about getting some solid wide receivers that can grow with Shedeur, man. They can make something happen.
Absolutely. So this is what they're saying in Cleveland. Cleveland, they have optimism for Shedeur Sanders there in Cleveland, especially with Todd Monken now, the head coach. They think there's a little bit more flexibility in the offense, and maybe that gives Shedeur Sanders the chance to use his playmaking more than he was under Kevin Stefanski. Wolf reports. You also have Deshaun Watson, who started throwing again with his quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, this week. They believe he will be involved in the competition he added. So the Browns could bolster their roster at wide receiver, O-line, and other spots and let these guys compete for the spot. So that is some pretty good news for Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, they don't look like they're trying to draft a quarterback this season. So that is a good sign moving forward. Like I said, when they signed Todd Monken and he walked into the facilities, I understood what this play was about. I said Shedeur Sanders can walk around the facilities in confidence now. He doesn't have to be on his toes or on the edge of his seat, whether worrying about doing something wrong. You know, that is the wrong mindset to come in as a professional athlete or in competition, worrying about making a mistake. You have to play and don't care about making a mistake. That's the type of confidence you have to have. And man, there's so many mind games that can go on and be playing in the back of your mind when you're dealing in a situation or you in circumstances like Shedeur Sanders was in, you know?
Yeah.
But either way, I think this was intentional. It wasn't a coincidence. I think Jimmy Haslam is happy with Shedeur Sanders, and he is responsible for making sure Shedeur Sanders became a Cleveland Brown. It wasn't Kevin Stefanski. It wasn't Andrew Berry. We seen those two guys wasn't too happy after his name was called and he was drafted. It didn't make no sense for them to draft Shedeur Sanders because they had all those quarterbacks on the roster and they had just drafted Dylan Gabriel. Jimmy Haslam is responsible for making this play, and Jimmy Haslam is responsible for making Todd Monken the head coach. No other team was reportedly too interested in making Todd Monken the head coach for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best setup for Shedeur Sanders, baby.
Man, I still think Deshaun Watson gonna have the upper hand, even though they say it's gonna be a competition and everything. But I think that Deshaun Watson always gonna get the first reps until Shedeur beat him up, because that money they got sitting on the bench. I mean, he been sitting on the bench for all these years. They gave him all that guaranteed money, so I feel like he's still gonna have a little bit of edge. It might be 55 to 45, but he gonna have a slightly edge. Because coming out,
the Cleveland Browns can't wait for June 1st, 2027 to get rid of All of that headache they dealt with Deshaun Watson. That is the day they plan to release him, when they have everything structured correctly in his contract and they don't have to worry about taking so much of a hit. If they keep him beyond June 1st, 2027, I think they're going to be on the hook for hundreds of millions or more dollars. So Deshaun Watson is on his way out. And for Deshaun Watson to maintain that quarterback one job or to win the job over Shedeur Sanders, he would have to be extremely convincing after all he has put the Cleveland Browns to. I mean, it would have to mean Deshaun Watson is so convincing that it looks like the Cleveland Browns are headed to the AFC Championship or something. You see what I'm saying? It has to be so convincing because there is no future with Deshaun Watson. This is it. They took all they could possibly take. There is only one reason he's on that roster, because of a screwed up contract.
Exactly. And you see, I mean, you hate to see it, but you seen when the fans, when he got hurt again, the fans started cheering like, we don't got to worry about him no more. So I feel like he come out day one being a starter, he gonna get booed. Like they gonna be upset.
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad, man. Yeah, it's a unique situation. And then for him to get hurt after going through all of those lawsuits and the guaranteed money issues, and then him, tear his ACL, it's just like bad luck after bad luck just kept piling up and kept piling up. But, watching Deshaun Watson now, he looked like he's in a good mindset. He's ready to compete. He's ready to continue to push forward. But I seen him throwing up the Shedeur too, man. I don't know what that means. The influence, Shedeur influence is crazy, man.